Hello guys, bersama saya lagi dalam Alright Nopa Channel. So hari ini sahabat semua, saya ingin membawakan Anda sekali lagi isu yang sedang dimainkan ya oleh pihak pembangkang seperti MP Macang, ya Belon Walaunti, termasuk juga KJ Kamarudin. Yang sebenarnya Khairi dan juga Mahathir ini adalah teman tapi mesra ya kepada Blackrock ini. Tapi mereka ya begitu hipokrit ya berkaitan dengan isu ini. Jadi sahabat semua, saya membawakan Anda sekali lagi untuk mendengar satu lagi pencerahan berani ya daripada Perdana Menteri kita berkaitan dengan isu ini. Jadi kita harapkan walaun-walauntit yang mendengar video ini boleh faham apa yang akan dikatakan oleh Perdana Menteri kita, dan juga ya Khairi Jamaluddin supaya menonton ya video yang ataupun ucapan daripada Perdana Menteri ini. Jadi tanpa membuang masa sahabat semua, mari kita tonton bersama video ini.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to share with you some of the concerns. And incidentally, I'm just back from Parliament, followed by Tugu Zafrul, and I had to deal with two questions today. One, Blackrock, and two, on the latest World Competitiveness Report. The two tough questions are left to the Prime Minister. But I think that is relevant in this context of this luncheon discussion. We made it very clear that Malaysia must remain a trading nation and open to investments. And therefore, the collaboration between MAHB and DIP to us is critical, and we as a government will support, and so is BlackRock's involvement in this country. I mean, very clear in front of all members of Parliament, and I think that explains well our position vis-à-vis investments from overseas, and in particular from the United States of America. I thought I deserve an applause for that. Possibly, most of you are not aware how sensitive and difficult and how the entire discourse has been so rancorous at the local level, particularly with the small by-election in Penang, that series of aspersions cast and allegations about our decision. So I used the forum in Parliament to give the facts and to say that we as a country has benefited immensely from investments overseas. And you know that although there is growing investments from Europe, particularly Germany and Netherlands, and so China, but cumulatively, I've said it repeatedly, that the United States is the largest investor into Malaysia. And we have, I'm coming from Penang, seen this phenomenal sort of increase in terms of investments from the United States, and the advantage accrued to us through transfer of technology and training and center of excellence. Even from the early days, Motorola, Intel, for example, have used Penang as a base, and Penang now has emerged as one of the major centers for semiconductor in the country, from back end to now the front end, and therefore we will have to respond very fast in terms of providing adequate training and expertise to our people. And I'm therefore here precisely to acknowledge that and thank you and for your confidence, and we appeal to you to give all the support necessary, and we will facilitate, not only facilitate, we accelerate the process. Anything goes wrong, blame to Guzafrul. So I'm ignoring all the figures and everything else just to state the policy position, which is to my mind important, and probably we'll have some exchanges following this. The second question, the second issue is, of course, raised by the opposition on the somewhat decline in terms of our World Competitiveness Report. And instead of being too defensive, apologetic, and giving all the excuses, I say, yes, We acknowledge there are some issues, but we're addressing it. We must thank the Institute and the report for identifying in detail issues that we have to give more consideration. And this is the position that we as the government take, not necessarily to be defensive and, to defend what is probably indefensible. But what are the key issues? Number one, that in terms of economic stability, we are still ranking number 8 in the world, which is really impressive. But there are certain clear decline in terms of competitiveness due to 3 factors. Number one, the ringgit. Because last year, the ringgit was badly adversely affected, although all the other fundamental figures in terms of growth, investments, and low inflation, low unemployment are registered, but still we had this problem. But fortunately, in the last few months, you see this change, phenomenal change, which means it is fair to say that one of the issues raised in the report, that the decline is due to the ringgit, now has been addressed. Now, second issue is, of course, this is the lack of clarity and commitment on the part of the political leadership on the issue of economic management, namely subsidy rationalization. Right. We just took over in November 2022. We have to navigate to ensure first it's politically stable, and it's important to my mind because we have seen a period of uncertainty, minor political turbulence. When I say turbulence, I'm not talking about Afghanistan or something, just, I should not name countries, I forgot, I'm a Prime Minister. But anyway, certainly there's a period of instability which is not attractive to investors in particular. So we have done. But political instability is by itself inadequate. It must follow through with clarity in policies. So the first 6 months of last year was just devising what is economic barani, that framework, how to attract investments, and the new industrial master plan, energy transition roadmap, and the need to emphasize or re-emphasize on food security, and of course digital framework. All these issues in digital transformation, energy transition, have to be crafted clearly because investors want to see clear policies and the determination and effectiveness of the government to ensure this is followed through concrete programs and facilitation. I use the term acceleration of some of these approvals. And that has been addressed now. Okay? Now, in terms of subsidy rationalization, of course, it's going to be grossly unpopular. It is popular to political analysts or economists. But we have to take time, we have to prepare the ground. And we have to show that we do care and concern. That's why in the first part of last year, I just made sure that all our schools, the dilapidated schools and poor lavatories must be addressed first. And the housing for our government servants and public housing must be given adequate attention. And of course, basic rural and infrastructure and those in the hinterland. Now, having obtained that sort of semblance of confidence, then we embark on more radical policies. So there is, of course, a subsidy rationalization by reducing tariff, electricity tariff, withdrawing for those very rich and also the more successful industries, which is not a popular thing to some of you. But I think, but still is a reasonable, cheaper and more competitive to the prices throughout the region. Then, of course, even we have the subsidy for chicken, which comes to about 1.2 billion ringgit a year. We have to therefore withdrawn the sort of a cap of the price and making sure that we monitor effectively better production and as a result, we have maintained the price structure and saved from the government purse 1.2 billion. from electricity tariff is 4.5 billion ringgit. And now, somewhat is being debated, the issue of diesel subsidy rationalization, which we are determined. But we do take extra care to make sure that the poorest element in our society are not affected adversely by this program. So we do provide subsidies for the very poor, fishermen, smallholders, and taxi drivers, school buses. These things are being, and we hope through that sort of arrangement we can save another 4 billion ringgit. So subsidy rationalization. This has reference to the World Competitiveness Report, because one of the major criticism is our failure, or at least lack of determination and commitment to undertake these some seemingly unpopular measures, but we did. All right. So, to my mind, that by itself would resolve the second major component of the criticism against the economic performance in Malaysia, and I hope, inshallah, next year we'll register much better report. Otherwise, you know how I would have to be forced to make some minor reshuffle in the cabinet. There's only way to save the Prime Minister by making. All right. And so I think the third issue relates to general economic framework. So I think I will address the two issues. Blackrock, because that will clear the air that this country will not compromise on the need to work and encourage investors without this sort of prejudice and condoning or conceding to some of this, to me, some very unreasonable demands. Number two is the issue of our preparedness to undertake the necessary measures to make sure that we remain competitive and grow, because I believe strongly that Malaysia has this enormous potential to emerge as a very important economic giant in the region. Workforce, yes, we have that infrastructure, we have even the semiconductor, the ecosystem, and now we are pushing ahead at a very fast track the issue of energy transition, both in Peninsula and Sabah and Sarawak, in particular, again, Sarawak, and then on digital transformation. So I think I would do that. If you're interested to read all the data, and the figures, and the numbers, you can look at the paper later on. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Terbaik sahabat-sahabat semua. Itu dia ucapan mantap padu daripada Perdana Menteri kita, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, ya, memberikan pencerahan sedikit ya berkaitan dengan Blackrock, ya, berkaitan dengan kompetensi pelaburan, dan banyak lagi lah ya antara perkara yang menarik ya untuk kita bincangkan. Jadi sahabat semua, terima kasih kerana bersama. Sekiranya anda memberikan sebarang komen, pandangan, dapat berikan dalam ruangan komen. Jadi izinkan saya untuk mengundurkan diri, dan seperti biasa peribahasa mengatakan tapapun kangkap 2 ton keinginan. Dalam bahasa Melayunya, tepuk dada, tanya selera. Sekian daripada Alright Nampak Channel. Saya kita berjumpa lagi. Bye bye.